Well, it's time to turn this big old burl that I've been holding on to for 3 years. I've been wanting to keep this as big as I can. Well, going across this direction, it's 20 inches. My lathe doesn't do 20 inches, it'll do 18. It's 17 that way. It's about 6 inches deep. So I took this outside, and I had just put a new chain on my little electric chainsaw. I decided I'm going to see if I can cut it straight. There's no guarantee that I'm going to cut that straight. But guess what? I got a nice straight cut down through here. Really happy with that. Now the piece is almost 18 inches to the corner. I'm going to get it mounted up. Let's see how it looks, and we'll get to turning on this. I already put a hole in there for a worm screw, so I'll get that mounted up and I'll be right back. So it's all mounted up, and it's actually very balanced, but I did set it on a point and just kind of got an idea where it was. Took a guess, drilled a hole in there. It's about as good as you could ever get a piece like that. How close did I get to the bed? Watch this. Both sides. They're a paper thickness away from the bed of that lathe, and that was just luck. I just put a block in here and hot glue it in place until I get it turned a little bit, and then we will flatten that off. But that's going to have to be tomorrow because it's time to go cook. So I'll see you in the morning. Alright, it is the next morning, and I went ahead and glued that little block in here in that void just so I could have good tailstock support. And let's see what kind of RPM we can get out of this. $580. Get my face shield on, and got my freshly sharpened 5/8 bowl gouge, and let's see how this works. I just put my big fan on. It's got a lot of dirt and whatnot underneath there. While I get that cut away, I want to run that fan, but it is cold because it's getting cold around here, and now I've got cold air blowing on me. But not for long. I think I can get past this, and we'll shut the fan off. Alright, I think I'm going to turn that fan off now. It's cold. Come down here and take care of this. I don't know how much I got to cut off to get something on there to grab it with. I pretty much didn't want to try to flatten this off because it's on a worm screw, and it was so irregular here. I didn't trust that. One little catch and throw things off. Yeah, I got a spot. Okay, much better. I'm going to go ahead and blend this area right here, and I think that's about all that I can do, or all that I want to do to it. Back to a 5/8 bowl gouge, still doing about 550. I'm going to take the negative rake scraper over this now. Well, I'm actually ready to sand this, but before I do, I don't want this bark on here because these little burls underneath there will look better than that bark. So I'll spend some time picking that off, then we'll sand this and a little bit more work on this recess. And it'll be ready to flip it around. So I'll be right back. Alright, I got most of the bark out of here using this little flat screwdriver. And also this little pointed tool that can get down in places that the screwdriver won't pop it out. I use the wire brush. That helps clean it out pretty good. So I also don't want to leave those sharp points on there. So I'm going to use the Sandiflex, and I have 100 grit on that. I'm not going to do it while it's turning. I'll just hold it. Till those points are no longer sharp. Then I'll go ahead and sand it starting with 120 because the negative rake scraper left it pretty nice. I'm going to sand it in reverse at about 350 RPM, and I'm going to get my dust collector going and sand it a little bit, and I'll get it up to about 400 and then we'll get it flipped around. I'm not going to put the finish on this side because I think I'm going to use an oil finish. Alright, I've got it flipped around and I'm getting ready to flatten it off, and then we can get some kind of a bowl shape cut in it. Getting around 550 RPM, so let me grab gouge in my mask and face shield and we'll get going. So I've put a line right here, and it's an approximation on the opening. I've got a large inclusion back here, so we'll have to kind of sneak up on that and see what we have. So let's get going on this and get it turned out. I might have a little design change here. I wouldn't mind getting a little bead on here. And it could be wider than that. me cut some more out of here and then think about it. Sharpen that up right here. Alright, it's time to get rid of this post so I can pull the tailstock back out of the way. That was a chore. So I've got this little canyon right there, and in the deepest spot on the other side, it's going to be real thin if I go much deeper. It's already a little bit thin the way it is, so I think that's as much as I want to cut out of the inside, except, you know, maybe another ½ inch to blend everything in. Okay, I'm all set up, and I just measured again. I think I could go down this way about a half and then across ½ an inch. Okay, that has really been hard to get rid of this little raised area I had right here. I couldn't cut through it. It's just the tool just kept grabbing that grain. So I've just scraped that off, and I think at this point I can use a negative rake scraper to do a little blending. And I'll do this, and then we'll get ready to sand everything. I don't have anything raised there now. Yeah, that feels all right. Yippee. I think we are ready to sand. I'm going to need a break though, that was a lot of work. I'll be right back. So with this sticking out so much farther from the center than what this is. I don't really think I can sand this under power while it's spinning. What I'm going to do is take my little pad sander and just sand those areas, and then maybe use the 2-inch disc here and just sheet the paper. I'll do all the inside with the 2-inch disc. So let me get ready and I'll show you a little bit of that. So sanding in reverse. For the last 3 years that I've had this burl sitting on a shelf, I've been thinking that it was maple. I'll be putting the finish on soon here. Once I got it on there, I'm not sure what it is. If you think you know what it is, let me know in the comments. Forward, I'll sand the inside, which will be the easiest. I'm going to save that for last because it'll be easy and fun. So I'll be back when we're sanded to 400 and it'll be time to put a finish on it. Okay, we have reached, I think, everybody's favorite time, and that's to put the finish on this. And I'm using Watco Danish Oil Natural. And I just put a drop in there. So let's just go ahead and see what it looks like, because I'm sure anxious. Oh my. Who would have ever known that was in there? Oh wow. I've been sitting on this burl for 3 years. Look at that. That is nice. I'm going to get a good coat on it. It's late in the day. Alright, so I'll finish this, make sure it's soaked in good. I'll let it sit all night, and first thing in the morning I'll flip it over and get the underside, and I'll go back and forth doing that. So I will see you when we put some on the back side. Okay, let's get some on the bottom, and you can see it's actually bled through in places. I've got a little brush here that there's little bug holes here and there, and I want to get this finish down inside of those. So I'll finish doing this. Not sure how many coats it'll take, but I'll be back when I'm through putting this on and we'll be all done. Well, here it is. It's all done, and it is just an amazing burl. I absolutely love it. I'm not sure if you can see all the burling in this, so make sure you check out the pictures. I'll put them at the end, and I know it'll show up quite well. The bottom is just as beautiful. So it's almost 18 inches across corner to corner here, and from the flat down here it's 13.5 inches, and to the top of this bead here it's about 3.5. And I put about a 9-inch bowl in it. I decided to finish with Danish oil just to try to keep a nice natural feel, and it did. But Danish oil doesn't really build up anything, so I put 2 light coats of tung oil on it, and that really feels nice now. And I wanted just a little bit of shine on it, so I used the Acks Polishing Restoring Paste, and I think it just did a wonderful job. I know I really love this burl, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, do me a favor and click that like button. And while you're there, it would be great if you could share the video around. Those 2 things will really help my channel grow. Leave a comment. I read them all, and I do my best to answer them all. Thanks to all my subscribers. And if you're not, please consider doing so. I do a mix of all types of turnings. Some are simple and some are complex, so let me know your favorite. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.